edition. Here are the top stories. Decoration awarded to senior officers. Meeting with technical and financial partners in Kempinski. Hello, welcome to our newsroom for having the news in details. The King of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and custodian of the two holy mosques, His Majesty Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, sent a congratulatory telegram to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Mergele, in the current context of the celebration of our National Independence Day. In his message, King Salman wished success and achievement to the head of state and more progress, development and prosperity to the Djiboutian people. The custodian of the two holy mosques, who praised the privileged relations between Saudi Arabia and Republic of Djibouti, reiterated his readiness to work further to strengthen the bonds of brotherhood, friendship and cooperation between the two countries and peoples. It should be also noted that a similar message was sent by the heir of the throne of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz, to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Mergele. Congratulatory message from the heads of state and government of brotherly and friendly countries, all wishing to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Mergele, success and achievement on the occasion of our National Independence Day, as well as more progress, development and prosperity to the Djiboutian people. Continue to pour in this day at the Presidency of the Republic. The President of the Russian Federation, His Excellency Mr. Vladimir Putin, is among a recent batch of leaders who have sent a congratulatory telegram to the head of state. Please accept my sincere congratulations on the occasion of the National Day of the Republic of Djibouti. Mr. Putin wrote in substance in the message he sent to the President of the Republic. I am convinced that the progressive development of the Russian-Djiboutian relations, which are traditionally friendly, fully meets the interest of our two peoples, he said in the same document. He also took advantage of this telegram to reveal his faith in the ability of relation between the two countries to go in the direction of strengthening stability and regional security. Before reiterating to the President of the Republic his wish for good health and success, and as well as those of peace and prosperity to all Djiboutian citizens. National news now. The Ministry of Interior, Mr. Said Nur Hassan, presided this morning very early a ceremony of awarding ranks to the top echelon to 6 police officials. The ceremony, which was held at the General Directorate of the National Police, was attended by the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, and the General Director of the National Police, Colonel Abdullahi Abdi Farah. Indeed, these police officers have distinguished themselves in combining operation in the north of the country, namely in the region of Tadjoura and Obokh, for a period of 6 months. These men have shown bravery and selflessness to ensure the security of our country. These men from the ranks of the FPU Somali One Company have spared no effort to push back. They spared no effort to push back to the criminals who wanted to destabilize our country. At the risk of their lives, they have valiantly defended the values that are dear to the Republic of Djibouti. From January to June 2021, they have demonstrated on the ground their bravery and courage. On his arrival, the Minister of Interior, Mr. Said Nur Hassan, was welcomed by the General Director of the National Police, Colonel Abdullahi Abdi Farah. The Minister of the Interior, accompanied by Lieutenant General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, and the General Director of the National Police, Mr. Colonel Abdullahi Abdi, before proceeding to the award of rank to the higher echelon of the Lieutenant Colonel Salah Mohammed Hirsi, Lieutenant Hassan Omar Waberi, Lieutenant Yassin Musa Waliya, Chief Warrant Officer Abdi Farah Darar, Sergeant Hassan Abubakar Hanifa, and Corporal Ali Buh Gele. Several senior officers of the National Police took part in this ceremony of awarding ranks. During this ceremony, the Chief of General Staff of the Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, emphasized the determination, courage, and will of these police officials who have worked tirelessly during these 6 months to perform their patriotic duty of protecting the country. part of the celebration of the 40th anniversary of the Independence Day of our country, the municipality has undertaken a number of commemorative activities. In addition to the cultural evenings throughout the capital, the exhibition of photos relating to path to independence of our country, the mayor of the city to proceed today in the presence of the Minister of Interior, again Mr. Said Nuh Hassan, and the Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mumin Asowi, the laying of a commemorative stele at the same place where the flag of the Republic of Djibouti was hosted on Monday, June 27th, 1977, location called Place Al Hurriya, located in front of the UNFD. This day reached an event, and especially in emotion, saw the participation of many personalities charged with history of our country and who had attended the evening of June 27th, 1977. In turn, and especially in the three national languages, each one of them recounted the emotion of this historic evening of June 27th. Others told about some dark event of the history of our country, the events of March 1967, for example. Have attended the same day Djibouti artists who have also told their part of the history and struggle for independence of our country. Seizing this opportunity, the mayor of the city, Faduma Awale Osman, praised at length the heroes of independence, requested the reading of the Fatiha to our valiant men and women who died for independence, to our politicians who also worked for independence and died. Finally, the mayor of the city thanked all the personalities who attended this event, in addition to the people in charge of the history of our country, the local elected official, the neighborhood councils of the three communes of the capital, and wished good Independence Day to this tribe. The Ministry of Finance of the members countries of Horn of Africa initiative made this morning at the Kempinski with the technical and financial partners for a breakfast meeting and the chairmanship of the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Yes Musa Dewali. This event was enhanced by the effective presence of all technical and financial partners, political authorities, administrative and UN partners. The agenda of this day was to sensitize and inform the technical and financial partners on the Horn of Africa initiative, the holy grail of economic integration of all countries in this part of Africa. Indeed, the Horn of Africa initiative, which is synonymous with greater regional connectivity of the areas of transport, energy, and digital infrastructure. In other words, an initiative that facilitates regional trade, integration, in other words, the establishment of a regional economic model. The ministers discussed with partners the assessment of joint trade and investment activities that have been implemented since the first meeting dedicated to the launch of the Horn of Africa initiative in 2019. They discussed ways to find sources of funding to provide the approximately $15 billion needed to strengthen regional cooperation, partnership, employment opportunities for youth and infrastructure development in the region, and increase the size of the gross domestic product of the Horn of Africa countries to achieve economic integration. Together with his peers, the Minister of Finance and Economic, Mr. Ilyas Musa Dewali, presented and defended the Horn of Africa Initiative Plan. The Minister, in turn, in their various presentations, have made a good harvest of commitment from technical and financial partners. It is worth noting that the five member countries of the Horn of Africa Initiative, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Somalia, Kenya, and Eritrea, have dedicated themselves to promoting economic integration and cooperation. The five focused on four priorities: improving the regional infrastructure network, fostering economic and trade integration, building resilience, promoting human capital development, and discussing ways to strengthen economic integration and regional cooperation in the Horn of Africa. This was followed by a series of fruitful question and answer sessions on the various presentations that were projected at the end of the day. In their respective speech, the General Director of the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Suleiman, emphasized the stability and prosperity in the sub-region go hand in hand. He said that stability and deep economic integration are interdependent. Let's listen to him.
My name is Suleiman, and I am, as I mentioned, the Director General of Ministry of Finance, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Finance of Somalia, who was not able to join us today. And it is a great privilege to participate in the first face-to-face meeting on the Horn of Africa ministerial meeting in Djibouti. His Excellency Dr. Abdurrahman Duale Bello was unable to join us today due to the sudden and urgent change in his schedule, which required him to remain at home. But he does send his warmest greeting to honorable ministerial colleagues and initiative secretariat, which must be commended for their hard work, even though this difficult period of COVID pandemic. The appointment of the knowledgeable and experienced assistant to national focal person, kindly financed by the Africa Development Bank, will strengthen the initiative priorities. We thank and congratulate the Minister Ilyas Duale and his team at the Ministry of Finance of Djibouti for their effective stewardship of the initiatives for the last 2 years. And we are confident that this good work will continue when the Secretariat rotates to Kenya.
I do believe what joins us together is much, much more than anything what people can think of. An integration of the economies of Africa in general, the economies of the Horn in particular, is key to achieving sustainable development goals. We are here today to take part in this very important and timely meeting and work with my colleagues, Vice Minister Suleiman, Sheikh Omar, Minister Ilyas, Minister Shide, and Executive Director of IGAD, as well as our international partners, to see the way forward for this initiative.
So we are here today to reflect on achievement in the last 2 years, as well as way forward. And in the afternoon, we are going to have also a meeting together with our development partners, both from their headquarters as well. So I'm happy to come and thank you for the hospitality we have been accorded since our arrival. And I would like to congratulate Sudan for joining us. You are very much welcome. Indeed, our work with Sudan is very important. And so Ethiopia and Sudan has implemented various projects in terms of regional integration. And also as part of this initiative, we have some project which is under development, which is very important. So this initiative, which is facilitated by Minister of Finance as well as IGAD and supported by development partners, are very, very important to define the future of cooperation in the region, which is very vital for consolidating peace, development, and cooperation. I thank you very much.
The Minister of Finance, Mr. Ilyas Musa Duale, in his speech said that beyond this socio-economic ambition, the people of the Horn are one people. It is thanks to this desire that we want to build a regional entity, a state of political and economic integration, which in turn will positively impact the future of the Horn of Africa. In the next stage, no one, he added, can accomplish an entire project, especially in a globalization context. Let's listen to him.
Horn of Africa initiative is about integration in the region. We, all of us, know how much difficulty is to stand alone in this context of international the globalization. As Excellency Dr. Gabayo, Warkane Gabayo was explaining, the Horn of Africa is all about one population, one people only, with different countries and under different flags. But at the end of the day, people from both sides of the borders are the same. And our leaders, starting from the establishment and creation of IGAD, they emphasized about having that people in peace and fighting climate consequences in the region. Peace, stability, and resilience building was the #1 foundation of our region through IGAD. While developing the stability and the peace in the region, year after year, countries among the Horn of Africa started working together and connecting to each other. We moved to a regional infrastructure and connectivity model, and we thought from the Minister of Finance perspective that is the best way to push that third agenda from IGAD of creating more integrated economically among IGAD countries. At the beginning, of course, we started with maybe a smaller group. And during that period of time, it was the opportunity, after having a peace deal between Ethiopia and Eritrea, to promote also the peace and stability in aims and commitment from leadership in the region.
Now direction to the White City, Tajura, as part of the celebration of the week of the 44th anniversary of our Independence Day. The CDC of Tajura City celebrated this event as all the CDCs of the regions and those of capital. It is in the joy and the popular jubilation that the inhabitants of the White City celebrated the 44th anniversary of the national independence. This large-scale event was attended by Dr. Hibo, Minister of Youth and Culture, the Prefect of the region, Mr. Hassan Dabale, the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Amr Hussein, Director of the CDC, Mrs. Ruqya, the Deputy Director of Mr. Muhammad Ali Ibrahim, as well as officials of various bodies in the region. The Cats poem, folk dance were at the appointment. The great national star Awali Aden, Faduma Haroon, Hamad Sangor, and local artists have vibrated the evening. The officials of the evening succeeded each other at the podium to express their joys and especially to pay tribute to our martyrs who fell under the bullets of settlers. The evening continued until late in the night by vibrating the city of Tajura by illuminating the Community Development Center. The Ministry of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mumin, praised in her speech the role of community development centers in supporting citizens, especially youth, in various fields on our cultural heritage. She also praised the role of the youth in developing youth and cultural development programs in the country, participating in health and education programs, and in economic and professional insertion. Thanking and appreciating the people of the region of Tajura for the reception and generous hospitality, praising our martyrs who sacrificed themselves for our independence. As part of the policy of the head of state, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Markele, to strengthen the promotion of women by establishing a significant share to the female fringe of our population at all levels of life, attribution both public and private. The Ports and Free Zones Authority, which regularly sends groups for academic training, has entirely dedicated this year's promotion to women. The APZF through this action with the help of the First Lady and President of the UNFD, Mrs. Khadra Mahmoud Haid, who is very committed to the promotion of women and the family, is implementing this policy aimed at strengthening the capacities of our young girls. This was the commitment of the President of the Port and Free Zone Authority of Djibouti, Mr. Abu Bakr Omar Hadi, during the International Day of Women's Rights this year, to send for the first time a group entirely composed of 23 young Djiboutian women to the Arab Academy of Science, Technology and Maritime Transport in Alexandria for academic training for a period of 4 years. These young women with a background in physics, chemistry, mathematics, and mechanics will join this Academy of Maritime Sciences on June 25, 2021. It should be noted that the authority has for some years proceeded to send several groups within this academy. The third promotion of this year is all the more singular because entirely composed of young women, symbolizing the commitment of the Authority of Ports and Free Zones of Djibouti to work for the inclusion of gender in the port field. The head of the Maritime Pilotage Department at the Port of Djibouti, Mrs. Fatima Ali Ahmed, said in her speech, with a background in physics, chemistry, mathematics, and mechanism, these girls will join the Academy of Maritime Sciences. These trainings, mainly oriented toward the sea trades, will allow these young women to work as officers of the Merchant Navy. The regional news now, as part of the celebration of the 44th anniversary of our national independence of our dear country, and under the instruction of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdullah, the ministry informs the population that all sampling and vaccination sites against the COVID population, that all the sampling and vaccination sites against the coronavirus, or COVID-19 pandemic will be open throughout the holidays. Indeed, people wishing to carry out examination or to be vaccinated will be able to go to these sites either in the city of Djibouti or in the commune of Balbala to obtain these services. Let us recall that this step is part of the tireless effort made by the Ministry of Health to effectively fight against this pandemic that continues to spread throughout the world. The Ministry of Health urged travelers about to carry a certificate of vaccination of COVID-19 at the International Airport of Djibouti. In the framework of the improvement of maternal neonatal health, the Directorate of Mother and Child Health, DSME, organized with the support of the IOM a training of midwives on the humanization of care, which was held at Kempinski Palace. This training brought together midwives from the 5 regions of the interior from the 2 reference maternity hospitals, Dar Al Hanan and Sheikho Hospital, as well as of those from polyclinics and community health centers. The general objective of this training was to strengthen this knowledge and skills of midwives on the humanization of care in order to provide quality care to all women attending health facilities in the Republic of Djibouti. During this training, several topics were discussed, namely the human dimension of care in the reception, presence, listening, and availability throughout the consultation session of women of childbearing age at the level of the various health structures of care. This training allowed the participants to engage in discussion and exchange through groups work to formulate recommendations on the points to be improved and the best practices to be popularized to ensure adequate care for women of childbearing age. This training also raised awareness on the administration of folding iron, which is available and free of charge in all health facilities of the Republic of Djibouti. Regional news, the management of Ali Sabih Regional Hospital, Dr. Ahmed Absiya, carried out a multidisciplinary medical caravan for the benefit of the population of Obulay region of Ali Sabih. This medical caravan provided care for the population of this locality and its surroundings. A multidisciplinary medical caravan led by the director of the Ali Sabih Regional Hospital, Dr. Ahmed Absiya, Mr. Mohammed Suge Ainan, in the presence of the prefect of the region, Mr. Musa Adan Migane. The team is composed of a group of doctors a midwife and nurse went to the sector of Abulay. The teams from the Dr. Ahmed Absi Warsame Regional Hospital carried out consultation and provided care to patients who came in droves to take advantage of the mini caravan. The Ministry of Health, with this action of relocation through this strategy, intends to bring care to the population of the regions by moving doctors and paramedics. The police of the region of Tajura celebrated the 40th anniversary of the creation of the National Police in the compound of their detachment. The ceremony chaired by the prefect of Tajura, Mr. Hassan Adabele, to a group, several members of the regional council of Tajura, including the president of the regional council, Mr. Omar Hussein, Commander Ilyas Yusuf, deputy chief of the RIAT, civil personalities, and customary leaders attended to the event. The commemoration ceremony started with the review of the troops, the salute of the flag by the prefect of the region of Tajura, the president of the regional council accompanied by Lieutenant Ilmi Hassan, the detachment chief of the police of Tajura.
ذاتي أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولا تقولون لمن يقتل في سبيل الله أمواتا بل أحياء ولا تشعرون اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم وعافهم واعف عنهم واغسلوا بالماء والثلج والبرد اللهم أطلقي من الخطايا كما نقي الثوب بالماء والثلج والبرد اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم وبدل دار أهل أهله وخير أهل أهله وأزواجهم اللهم أدخل جنتك وأعذ من عذاب القبر وصل على سيدنا محمد الفاتحة.
The State Secretary in charge of Sport, His Excellency Hassan Mohammed Kamil, received on Thursday in his office former and current high-level sportswomen, technical supervisor and leaders of clubs present at the workshop on the place of women. During this meeting, which was attended by the General Secretary of the SES, Mrs. Khadija Ibrahim, the Minister first welcomed his guest. He then took the opportunity to present the national sport policy and especially the place of women in the field. It should be noted that the policy of the State Secretary in charge of sport favors to the development of the practice of sport, thus to reduce the inequalities in this battle of equality. The media spotlights key to ensuring a real change in attitudes and practice in sport. At the end of the meeting, the senior and junior women presented recommendations that were discussed at length during the two-day workshop. On the eve of the celebration of the 40th anniversary of independence, the preparatory activities in Obokh are in full swing. The beautification operation launched by the prefecture and the Obokh Regional Council involves not only the renovation of the main arteries of the national road, but also the vast facets of the dwellings so that they can be resurfaced for the celebration of the national holiday. According to the prefect Abdul Malik, the beautification operation is of a crucial importance insofar as it contributes to the improvement of the living environment of fellow citizens. The people of Obokh, already dressed in the color of the flag, is eagerly preparing to celebrate the 44th anniversary of independence in a festive atmosphere in a great pomp. It is with great sadness that we learn the death of Mother Haji Aisha Amar Noor on June 21st, 2021 in the night in Al Sabih. The deceased, age of 78 years old, was the mother of 7 children, including Colonel Hussein Noor Al-Dali of the Gendarmerie, called the grandmother of more than 20 grandchildren. All of them came from the great Dohor Al-Dali family, very well known in the region of Al Sabih. Let us recall that the deceased was very appreciated for her generosity and her kindness, and spared no effort to help any needy person. The Dohor Al-Dali family warmly thanks all those who showed their unfailing support in this difficult moment. May Allah welcome her in His paradise. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. This is it for this edition of 9 p.m. Thank you for watching us and have a wonderful evening. Happy Independence Day.
Midea est un leader mondial dans le domaine de l'électroménager depuis plus de 50 ans. La marque Midea se distingue par sa qualité, sa garantie à toute épreuve et économique pour sa consommation d'énergie. En effet, les climatiseurs